Using manual gears in Gran Turismo 7 can make you faster. You hear it all the time. The advice all over the internet is, oh, use manual gears, bro, it'll make you so much faster. Now, I'm going to investigate exactly what this means. Now, I do agree it does make you faster, but in very different ways, maybe ways you wouldn't expect. I'm going to conduct a series of experiments and show you the results, and you can decide if manual gears is for you or not. Now, before we go too far, there is absolutely no problem using automatic gears. I think golds on all of the time trial challenges, all of the licenses, it's possible to hit the golds with automatic gears, no problem. This is to find the final tenths of a second which help you to get faster and faster in Gran Turismo 7. There are three main benefits that I can see to using manual gears. The first benefit is fuel efficiency. You can use a slightly different earlier shifting method to rev out the car a little bit less, which makes your car slightly more fuel efficient. Yes, you will compromise a little bit of speed, but the balance between speed compromise and fuel efficiency can be quite a bit higher when you're short shifting using manual gears. The second huge benefit is in some of the cars in Gran Turismo 7, the DP100 Aston Martin, for example, using short shifting keeps you in the power band of the engine. The automatic gears just rev to the red line and then switch to the next gear, whereas the power band for the car is much lower. And the third benefit of using manual gears is it gives you an extra level of control over the car. So you've got throttle, brake and steering typically, and then add in a little bit of engine braking and downshifting and short shifting to kill the torque, gives you a fourth dimension to control the car. I'm going to cover all of these points in this video. Now, it is possible to use a controller and still use manual gears. That's how I used to play before I got my wheel and pedal set up. It is a little bit more tricky, but it still gives you that level of control. I just used a square and X for gears, trigger for throttle and brake, and the stick for the steering. And once you get the flow of manual gears, then you really get into the spirit of it. But if you really want the immersion of using manual gears, then I highly recommend using a wheel. I just use the Logitech G29. It is one of the most budget friendly racing wheels you can buy. Manual gears feels incredibly fun, and I use it combined with the GT Omega classic wheel stand. It's probably the cheapest wheel stand you can buy, and it's absolutely fantastic. If you want anything from GT Omega, check out the links in the description below. CD5 is my exclusive discount code to get you 5% off anything at GT Omega. Let's go and run some tests. So the first test we're going to run is with the Aston Martin DP100 car. We're going to run versus the AI, straight line race right until the checkpoint, and we'll see. The first run is going to be on automatic gears. I'm going to hit the throttle, we're going to keep it absolutely pinned, and we will just see how we go. The AI is the exact same car that we're using. We've got the automatic transmission off the line. This four-wheel drive car is going to launch perfectly fine. About half a second is the gap to the AI driver. We're going to keep away from the slipstream, so that's not going to have any effect. And yeah, looking here now, guys, we are just cruising along. Switch to the view that gives you the full rev counter. You see the rev counter, we're over 8,000 RPM. It's just not shifting up. We are stuck at 250 kilometers an hour. It's not shifting to fifth gear. Finally, it shifts to fifth gear, and we continue to progress forwards. This car's engine torque map is incredibly towards the low end of the rev range, so you see it just hang on for a long time. Also check the fuel at the gantry here. We're going to hit the pause button, and we are going to get there with 31% of fuel remaining, and it's going to be 285 kilometers an hour. 47 seconds we did that in, and the AI driver will 0.4 behind. Now all I'm going to do is change assist settings, change to manual transmission, and then retry. No other settings change completely, keeping the throttle pinned exactly as before, except this time I'm going to shift around 6,000 RPM. Just going to get the normal launch, short shifting, 6,000, 7,000 most of the time. 7,000 shift, there we go. And you can see already we are absolutely blowing the AI's doors away, and we're already into fifth gear. We are continuing to pile through the speed. A little shift at 7,000 RPM again, 275, 280 kilometers an hour already. Getting ready on that pause button. just pauses when we hit that checkpoint at the very end. 295, we're going to be hitting 300 kilometers an hour, 1.5 seconds ahead of the AI driver that is using automatic gears, and this is a significantly different experience, guys. So here we go, at the same line, 44 seconds it took us to get there, 44% of fuel, so we're much more fuel efficient short shifting, and because the power band of this car is much lower, we've got so much higher top speed, 305 kilometers an hour. Now I'm going to show you exactly why that is. So if we head over to the settings, have a look at the car settings, go down to detailed settings and over to the output adjustment, we see here, I can't get the the arrow on screen is missing. Either way, the grey line here is very towards the low end of the RPM range. It's got a lot of torque low down and much higher in the RPM range. The torque just dies off completely. So this car likes to be short shifted. This power is generated much lower in the RPM range. So this is where you can use short shifting with a manual gearbox to just keep the car in the optimal rev range for the maximum torque and power output. So for this next test, we're going to take the Nissan R92 to Sardinia World Touring Car 800, but it's just it's going to be a one lap custom race, 50 times fuel consumption rate. So this is really going to amplify the fuel consumption rate. So using automatic gears, watching the fuel go through, I'm not going to be doing any shifting at all. This is a very familiar World Touring Car 800 Sardinia grind, but it's going to be one lap on maximum fuel usage, and we're using automatic gears, so I have no control over the gears for this race or for this lap. And already I can feel a little bit of frustration with the lack of control of the gears, but that's not the reason for this particular test. This is to see how efficient we can be with a manual gearbox, or how inefficient the automatic gears can be. So I'm just going to run one lap. It feels very awkward for me not shifting. I just have a little less control than I would normally, but we'll get to that a bit later in the video. But fuel usage wise, we're actually revving out because the automatic gears, we're hanging it through fourth gear now. Now this is a car where you do need to rev it out to be fast, but in this one we are just letting the AI rev it out. So now to drive it, to be honest, it feels okay. It did shift down to first. I personally wouldn't have done that. The lap time is going to be a little irrelevant because I'm talking at the same time as driving, but we just want to see the fuel usage really. A little bit wide there, but that's not too much of a problem. We've done that before in many of the grinds. So down to first gear, I wouldn't normally do that. I'd normally short shift to second. Letting the automatic gears do that is a bit frustrating, but we're going to run to the line. A little bit sketchy, this car's a bit understeery on power. So we want to look for the fuel usage as we cross the line, 13, 12, 11% as we cross the line. So that is going to be 11% fuel usage, 11% fuel left after that one lap. It's a 132.4 second lap. So the only thing I'm going to change for this round is to just put it back to manual gears, give me that control back over the car. I will be short shifting to try and save fuel, but I'm still going to try and keep as best lap time as I possibly can. So short shifting about halfway on the rev bar, especially in the higher gears, so we're not revving out too much, and that's going to allow us just to keep the car going forwards as best we can, but it's going to save fuel. It's not going to keep revving the car. And already back to manual gears, it feels much more comfortable to what I'm used to. You can also delay the downshifts, that also saves fuel, and then corner exit in second gear. It does feel good again switching back to manual gears because you've got that level of control over the car. We can choose when we get on the gas, what gear we exit the corners in, and also I like to hear the manual gears for the engine note. It gives me that third reference point as to the speed of my car in the corners. Exiting in second gear, it just kills that torque a little bit, allows me to get on the gas with a bit more confidence than before. A little bit better this time, a little bit wide still, but we're all good. On the 100, braking. So I do go down to first gear, but I'm going to short shift up to second gear on corner exit, which is going to not allow it to over rev, not allow it to spin the wheels and not give me the drive. I'm going to run to the line now. I'm going to keep an eye on the fuel usage because that is important. 31% of fuel left, so significantly more fuel left using manual gears and short shifting. But what was the lap time? 1:32.3. So the lap time was almost exactly the same. However, we saved a significantly more fuel, 20% more fuel. Now, this is an extreme situation. You're never going to use 50 times fuel, but this could be the difference between needing to have 2 pit stops or 1 pit stop in a World Touring Car 800 grind, for example. So what a great example of how to use manual gears and short shifting to maintain a similar lap time, and yet we're saving a significant amount of fuel. Now, probably if I were the automatic gears, if I was to put a less scrappy lap in, maybe I could have been faster, but there's so many variables into getting a fast lap time. But having that extra level of control over your car and the fuel efficiency is pretty critical. So now, just regarding the level of control over the car, let's remove the short shifting for power equation, because this car, for the time trial right now, this car does need to be revved out. Let's remove fuel from the equation because there's no fuel enabled for this time trial. It's 1 lap. I'm going to drive 1 lap in automatic gears. So this is 1 lap of the time trial with automatic gears. Now, I've got a vague idea of this time trial. I'm not going to be an expert at this, but keep an eye on what gears are being used and what gears are being selected by automatic gears. So in this one, we're going to go into turn 1. It's a little bit of a lift, a little bit of a brake through a bit of a chicane. So it's going to be revving out. That's pretty okay for the amount of power delivery that's needed. I'm just going to just scrub the speed here, float through these corners here. Big cut. I think blending the throttle here for that. There we go. Nice. Feels pretty good, to be honest. Letting the auto gears do their thing around this corner here. On the brakes, that's pretty nice through there. So corner exit is all good there. So it is going to drop to 3rd gear for us. A little bit of a loose cart in 3rd gear. Revving it out there. Now down the straight, it is changing gear at the right place. Auto gears does a very good job of changing gear. When the car's a normal car that has a high rev range where you'd normally go almost to the red line and change gear, automatic gears works really well. I don't feel disadvantaged at all with regard to that. What the difference really is when you want to be in a specific gear for a specific corner. This is where auto gears can hold you back a little bit. Now, you can drive around it. You can drive the car to force a gear change, which is okay. You will probably be used to that already if you're driving manual gears. But having that extra level of control to just get the car downshifted, get the car turned in a little bit. So we're going to be going into the final big braking zone of the lap. Really sharp corner. Is it going to change to first? It's not going to change to first. Exiting in 2nd gear. Now I'm going to run to the line. I'm going to see if this is going to get us a gold lap time. That was a 1 shot at this lap time. So what is the lap time going to be? 1:53.7. That might not be good enough for gold, but that was a 1 shot, guys. But that is automatic gears. That worked pretty good to me. What is it going to be? 1:53. So it was almost a gold. There was plenty of time left on the table. I didn't even use a ghost for that one. But the interesting thing I want you to see, guys, let's look at what the fastest driver in the world does. So the fastest driver in the world right now for trial mounting in the GT500 Supra is Jack Balding. Now, shout out to Jack Balding. We've had some communication with him before. We've rated him in the Kirith kart lobbies before. Superb driver back then. But right now, he's the fastest driver in the world. So a huge shout out to you, Jack. Let's see how he makes this happen. So into turn 1, he stays in 5th gear. And he doesn't shift up, so that's another benefit here. So he shifts down, he's got full control over the car through here, staying in 5th gear all the time. 5th gear all the time. Now on the brakes, downshift, he has a upshift on the exit to 4th gear to kill that power. Downshift extra to 2nd gear on corner entry, upshift to 3rd on corner exit to kill that torque. again, using the gears to manipulate the car in a way that's going to give him what I want. So 4th gear corner exit from here, and it looks like it's going to be another 4th gear corner exit. So he's making those upshifts early so that he's going to stay on boost in 4th gear instead of having to make a shift and lose the boost on the gear shift. And he's also killing a little bit of torque so he can get on the gas more confidently than he would if it was in 3rd gear, where it's going to have a bit more torque. Into the big braking zone now, he's going to be going down the gears pretty aggressively. That's going to help him with some engine braking. Again, short shifting on corner exit into 4th gear. Interesting, guys. Let's try a lap out with this in a moment. So yeah, 2nd gear for here to get the rotation. Double shift into 4th gear for corner exit. Again, he likes to exit the corners in 4th gear. Let's see if he's going to do it for this corner here. He is also 4th gear for the corner exit here as well. So that is, he's going to be saving some time with that one, guys, I'm pretty sure. So the braking point is just at the tyre mark on the wall. Down to 1st gear for here to get the car to turn really sharply. Really close corner exit. And 3rd gear corner exit for that chicane there. So he is using the gears much more aggressively to get the car in the right gear for the car the gear he needs to exit the corner. Let's try and implement that ourselves now. Now I will actually load Jack's time as a ghost. So we've got that reference point. We can just follow it. So the lap time that I'm going to generate right now is going to be a little bit unfair compared to the auto lap time because I've got that ghost to assist me. I'm going to switch back to manual gears, and then I'm going to see what we can do. We're going to try and emulate those gear shifts. Some of them won't work for me, I know that, I've tried it already, but some of them will, and that is all the way to 1st gear, shift on the corner exit here, upshift to 3rd gear for the exit here as well. That's going to be a nice corner entry. Now personally, I didn't like hanging 5th gear in the end of the straight. That downshift helped me to get into the corner, so I'm going to try that differently. What works for you is going to work best for you. So I'm going to shift up. I'm going to just do a little lift and downshift here for me. Not ideal line. That's an absolutely shocking line, to be honest. But we're going to follow it through and try and hang on to him. So we're going to try and downshift here. Exit into 4th gear. That felt a bit slow to me. I don't think I really let that rev out. 2nd gear through there to get the rotation. Now getting on the gas here in 4th gear helped a lot. Look how close I am to the ghost. Missing that apex there for me, but I'm going to still shift up to 4th gear on corner exit, get that boost on and see what's going to happen. Now this has felt like a pretty scrappy lap so far, so I may go for a 2nd lap. Let's see how this one plays out. I'm going to rev it out through here because the car does like to be revved up to 6th gear. Blinded by the tunnel exit, downshifting now. 2nd gear for the rotation, 4th gear for the corner exit, and we can just plant the throttle in 4th gear. We know we're not going to spin up the tyres in 4th gear. Oh, you feel it just go there, but I caught it. 4th gear was helping me out a bit there, I think. You can be much more aggressive with the throttle application in the higher gear. All the way down to get the car rotated in 2nd gear. Early shift to 3rd gear and corner exit. And now that wasn't a great lap time. We're going to run to the line. We'll see what that's going to be. But you can see where shifting in those different shift points. So it's going to be 152.7. It's only 0.3 off my absolute best so far. But you see how early shifting kills the torque, gives you that confidence to exit the corner. So that is going to give you an introduction to the benefits of manual gears. Now, if you want to try manual gears, I highly recommend doing so. Don't be disheartened by finding it a bit difficult initially. It's an extra thing to think of during the lap. It's definitely more of a process thing, so where you get used to your braking points, your turning points, your acceleration points, you're adding in a few flicks of gears here and there, but I guarantee once you get used to using manual gears, this is going to help you to be faster. It's going to give you an extra level of control over the car. It's going to make you much more fuel efficient, and in some of the cars that do require it, you can short shift to gain so much more power out the car. Guys, if you found this video useful, then make sure you smash that like button. If you do need anything from GT Omega to help you improve your sim racing cockpit, your rig, whatever you need to do, check out the description below. I've got an exclusive discount code, 5% off anything at GT Omega. On screen right now will be a link to another video which you'll find really interesting. I recommend you go and check that one out. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.